I'm going to go over some of the BS that you tell yourself of why you're not ready to do the thing that you actually want to do or the thing that you actually need to do. And a lot of time it actually is BS. You're just telling yourself the wrong information, the things that you believe are the things that you need in place, but you actually don't. And that only reason why you're saying that is because you haven't done the thing that you want to do. So in this case, I'm talking about the kind of business that I run, but literally for anything that you're doing, these principles and rules apply. So in this video, I'm going to go over 5 of some of the beliefs that I come across where people will delay taking action and ultimately delay their success. And I want to break them down in this video. So stay tuned with me because I'm going to dive straight in. And that's because I have my own recruiting business. I've been running it for 10 years. We've been growing on average by 100K every single year. And I now share that entire journey on how to build a business like mine with the people that work with me. So let's break it down. And I'm telling you, I have spoken to countless people who will believe that they have a certain skill and they're really, really good at it. But actually, there's other things that are required. So there's some justification behind why you should delay starting your own business. However, there are some places where it's just absolute nonsense, and I'm going to go through the nonsense options here. And the first one is how many things that you have to get perfect. Now, so many people will say, okay, I'm not ready because I don't have a logo, I don't have a website, I don't have a LinkedIn profile, I don't have this, and they'll make a list of things. And a lot of the time, these things can be done in like 10 minutes. Like there's other videos that I've put together on YouTube where I explain how to do it, and it takes like 5 or 10 minutes to put them all together. And it's not because you need those things to actually get the business going. These are just fine details that can be done literally just like that. And if that's a justification for you to delay the success that you inevitably believe that is possible for you, then it's just, you're just delaying everything for no apparent reason whatsoever. You actually don't need any of that to get started. And the only reason why you believe you do is because you might be comparing your success to somebody else who has seen success in the same place. But you have to understand they started at a certain place as well. There was a point in time I didn't have a LinkedIn profile. There's a point in time where I had no clients and no candidates and no terms of business and no website, but we had to get it done. And then next thing you know, we're off to the races. But if I stayed at that position for weeks, if not months, then I was always going to be a week or a month behind wherever I needed to be. And then the second one is, do I need a business partner? The short answer is no, you don't need a business partner. You have to find a business partner, if you need one, that is just as hungry as you, has more motivation than you, and is somebody that can bring something of value to the business that you can't provide. And I can say that from experience because I have had business partners and I have a business partner, and I've also run businesses without a business partner as well. In some cases, it's like you don't need a business partner. The times when you need somebody is when they can bring something to the table that you can't. And I've had this conversation recently, and I've had it with some other people as well. It's like, okay, let's start a business together. And the reason why we have business partners is because our 500 or 600 pounds, dollars or euros a month as running costs, they would just be cheaper if we split them across 3 people. Like, dude, like you're dealing with 10, 15, even 20 grand fees in this business. You don't need to be splitting 600 pounds, dollars or euros. Like, it's fine. Like, that is not a justified reason to enter into a business partnership. Like, yeah, you can, it is an option, it could be, but it's not a good enough reason, because now you're giving away a third or half of your business for what? Just to share running costs. Like, that's not a value add. Unless the other person is going to foot the entire bill of running the recruitment business and you're going to do all of the work, in which case, fine, split it 50-50. You do the work, he puts down all the money. But just for the sake of sharing business costs, this is not good enough. And it's purely a limiting belief, and it restricts people's growth. The other person needs to bring something of value to the table, should be just as hungry, and they should be somebody who motivates you even more than what you are motivated as you are on your own. Because if that doesn't happen, there's no point having a business partner. And the next thing is, do I need more experience? I don't have the confidence. Hell, man, you're not going to have experience and you're not going to have confidence. You learn this on the job. You have to do the thing, and that's when you start to gain the experience and you build the confidence and you get better at it, and then you get more confidence. So like, your confidence is built on the wins that you have. You have to get going, and then you start stacking your wins on top of each other. You become more confident and you basically make more in the long term. So confidence isn't something that you can buy or something that you can just acquire instantly. It comes with proof, and you have to prove that to yourself. And for you to prove that to yourself, you have to do the work. And when you do the work and you see the results, that's when you gain confidence. So you can become confident at literally anything and everything. Driving, going to the gym, losing weight, gaining weight. Heck, man, you can become confident at anything. I'm sure everybody's pretty good at gaining weight, okay? You can do that, and you have that confidence because you've done it before. So the most important thing here is not for you to wait until you have enough self-belief in yourself. The issue here is you have to get going, and that's when you start to believe in yourself. if you're old enough to drive a car and you have a driving license, the first time you took a driving lessons, you had absolutely no idea what you were doing. And it was quite nervous. You were nervous and you had like a really small car with a tiny engine. And then eventually now you might look at yourself and you think, oh, man, like how the hell, like this just comes naturally to me. I can just do it. But just like riding a bike, the first time you do it, you're not going to be very good at it. And that's okay. Except when you're learning to drive a car or learning to ride a bike, if you don't do it without training wheels or any safety, you're just going to get hurt even more. And if you try and learn to drive a car and you do so without an instructor, you are going to get hurt, or you're at least going to cause some damage. Like, I'm sure there's some people out there who think that they can learn how to drive a car by watching endless YouTube videos. Well, you probably can. You're just going to cause a lot of damage along the way. So it would be absolutely stupid to learn how to drive a car without a driving instructor. And the same principle applies in business. Because just like when you're driving or when you're cycling, there's certain things that you wouldn't know unless you're an experienced driver or cyclist. So in business, what we consider blind spots, you just lose money. And there's certain things that you'll be losing out on and you just wouldn't even know. So when it comes to finding a driving instructor, it's less so the issue of the cost. It's just how long are you going to take to struggle and continue doing things the way that you are. And then all of a sudden everything falls in place and feels nicely because now you've got somebody who's actually there to help you. And the next one is that the market is too saturated. There's too many other people doing the same thing. Heck, man, there is no such thing as saturation, because if anything was saturated today, it would be the coffee shop market. There is somebody selling coffee on just about every single street corner, on every single road across most of the world at this moment in time, certainly across the UK, Europe, and the US. So if there was a market that was saturated, it would be the market selling coffee. But it's not saturated because there are enough people who want to buy coffee. So now the nature of a recruitment business is that it doesn't get saturated. It can't be saturated because a recruitment business is a support service offered to growing businesses. And forever from now on, there will always be growing businesses. So as long as there's a growing business in a given niche, in a given location, in a given target space, guess what? There's going to be recruiters who specialize in supporting their growth. And for those that do choose to work with me, I'll give you all the AI prompts that will help you generate an absolute rock solid, AI-proof, future-proof, recession-proof niche. Because I work in one, you should pick one too. And even then, when it comes to saturation, I don't even know how many competitors that have. That's okay. There's enough money going around in this specialist area for everyone. If you want to go for competition or you want to look at saturation, the saturation occurs with the complexity of business that you run. For example, if you wanted to open up a coffee shop, heck, that is a very saturated market because it's so easy to get going. You get a coffee machine and then off you go. Maybe do a little bit of training in terms of how to get a really good coffee going, but that's it. You're off. Like, you can get the business off the ground within a very short space of time. Whereas with recruitment, it takes a little bit longer. Now, if there's a business that is really easy to get going, guess what? There's a lot of competition because it's easy to get going. And then there's a business that's really complex to get going. Like, how many people go out saying, you know what, I'm going to launch a brand new car, or I'm going to start building rocket ships and start competing with NASA and SpaceX and all of that? Like, there's nobody doing it, and there's not many people doing it because there's so much complexity in building the product before you've got to a place where you can start making money. If you want to go back a little bit, there's a load of other complex business modules. But when you consider the shortest route to collecting cash, if there's a business that collects cash really, really quickly with no real complexity whatsoever, guess what? There's a load of competition there. And if you're considering recruitment or professional matchmaking, this is nowhere near saturated compared to some of the other businesses because it's a little bit more complex. Not so much that it's not beginner friendly, but it requires a little bit of patience. And for that reason, so many people get put off and they just don't even bother entering into the space. So it's completely untapped. So when you consider everything that I've mentioned here, these are just limiting beliefs. They're not justified reasons for you to delay progress or the success that you're hoping for and you're aiming for. Because a very realistic goal in recruitment is not to make 10 grand a month. It's actually 20, 25, even 30K a month. So for the time being, drop me in the comments if you've got any other limiting beliefs. I do read all of the comments. I might even make another video. This one was inspired by somebody else who asked the question whose username escapes me at the moment. But thank you for the inspiration. And that's all for this video. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.